Hey everybody, happy spring break. We did it. We made it through one whole week of remote learning. We are so grateful for all of the support and the patience and the communication that we've had. We couldn't be doing this without you, and we're so grateful that we still have this opportunity to be a part of your child's life. This is a stressful time. We just want to say, give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing much better than you think you are. All of us are just doing our best right now. We need to be kind to ourselves. So I just wanted to give you this one idea that might help you as you go throughout this week. It is spring break, so I know that things already feel crazy and unstructured, and now we're throwing spring break at you. So I thought that this would be a good idea to introduce in your homes if you are struggling with structure right now. So this is a visual schedule. This is something that we use in the classroom, so your students are already used to this format. It's just, top to bottom. This is the first thing of the day, and when we're finished with it, we take it off so that they can see kind of time moving in a more concrete way. So when your child first gets to school, we do line time, which is just a morning greeting song. We talk about what day of school it is, what day of the week, day of the month. However you want to implement a calendar routine might help your child, and frankly you, as we're all like, what day of the week is it again? Every day just feels like Sunday or a holiday. So this might be for you just as much as it is for your child. After we do our morning greeting at school, we go right into work time. So this is what we've been getting the most questions about, is what should a work time look like at home? How much time does my child need to be spending on academics? And there is no correct answer, but what I'll tell you is that in our classroom, we have a 2 to 3 hour work time every morning. And this is a time of day that typically works well for students. They're just feeling a little bit more fresh. Before lunch, it seems, is when we get the best, when they feel the most motivated, I guess. And so I would recommend doing no more than 2 to 3 hours of quote unquote academic time with your child. Certainly, we would not recommend doing straight through 9 to 4. That's not what their day at school looks like. We do have this focused period, and so at home that also may not be possible. It could be a 10-minute chunk here and then go take a break outside and then another 10-minute chunk, and that's totally fine. So this work time when they're at school, obviously the whole classroom is open to them and very child friendly, and it's very child directed learning, and everything's hands-on. As you know, you've all been in the classroom, so they're choosing what they would like to work on, and they're having individual one-on-one lessons with the teacher. So during this time, you could be doing things like education.com. There are a whole bunch of other resources, and I'll link several of them below this video in this blog post, just to give you some more ideas. I would recommend something like this, just to give them a sense of normalcy. This is what they're used to at school, so it doesn't have to look just like this, but I would recommend maybe having a chunk in the morning of quote unquote academic time, and then having the line time lesson. So we post a new line time lesson every morning at 9 a.m. on the blog. So I would recommend either before or after they have their chunk of work time, having them watch that so that they can feel that sense of community still. And then after line time, we have recess here. So go outside, have some recess, and then we do lunch. And right after lunch is always story time, and then like a more quiet, we do a mindfulness or a peace activity. So that's just a recommendation. Your day at home may not look like that at all, but what I have created for you is an example, a customizable schedule that you can print out at home and use this way. And so so I added tons of things on here, and you may not use a lot of these. For example, I put getting dressed and brushing your teeth and all of these things that obviously we're not going to be doing in the classroom. It depends on how scheduled you want your child's day to be, and how they will thrive. Honestly, just think about, do they need every 10 minutes chunked out so that they can visually see, okay, it's time to get dressed now? That's not a bad thing. Some kids really thrive with that. For other kids, it might make them feel really suffocated. And so what I've also done is included a link below to a visual clock. So rather than scheduling out your day, 9 a.m. we're going to do this, 10 a.m. we're going to do this, I would recommend using something like this. And it's a way for them to be able to see. Again, it's very visual, very concrete. See the time moving. So you could say, okay, now it is time to get dressed. And this is going to take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I don't know, whatever it is. So I have also included at the bottom of the Google Doc photos of all of these different time increments. So if your child is really struggling, you could show them it's time to eat breakfast and it's going to take 10 minutes. So our chart is just made with those little adhesive Velcro squares. I will link to some below that you can use. You could choose to use this timer to show how much time each task is going to take. Or if that sounds overwhelming, where did my scissors go? I don't even know where my scissors went, but you could just snip this part off and just use it just like this. The reason that I would recommend using the timer approach rather than exactly at 3 o'clock we're doing this is because it's really, really difficult to schedule your day that way at home with children, juggling all the things that you are. Also, if it is really overwhelming for your child to see all of this at once, and this isn't even a full day, after story time we would have electives and another recess and then we'd show pickup. If that feels overwhelming, another thing that you can do is just take a folder like this, and our kindergartners use something kind of like this during work time to help them be self-directed, and it's just a first then chart. So basically we could say to a child who's struggling, first we are going to have work time and then we're going to eat lunch. So it's just those two things. And again, I would just use the adhesive Velcro squares so that they stick right in there. And then they're only looking at those two things and just focusing on this is what I'm doing now. And I also see what's coming next so that I have that little sense of control. Montessori is all about following the child and providing freedom within limits. So it's not about freedom the entire day. Freedom within limits means you're providing a structure for your child, and this is what the structure looks like. And then within each piece of that structure, there's a lot of freedom. So story time, give your child lots of freedom. What books would you like to read? Do you want Miss Brittany to read a story to you on the computer? Do you want me to read a story? Would you like to go get a Bob book and read it all by yourself? Whatever that looks like for you is totally fine. Also, I added, as I mentioned before, lots and lots of options on here. But if there's something that you want specifically that's not on here, I also added just a blank page that looks like this. So you can just follow this same format and type in whatever the option is. Maybe it's FaceTime grandma, or whatever it is that you need to add in, that's fine. One of the options on here is also a class video chat. So if we have one of those scheduled, you can put it on your child's chart to show them, look, you get to see your friends later today. One other thing is that this visual timer does have like a little ticking sound to it. So if that drives you crazy, don't say I didn't warn you. These are about 17 bucks on Amazon. Another option that does not tick is just something like this. This is also about $16 on Amazon. Anything that shows time moving in a concrete way is very helpful for children. So obviously this one is not as customizable and it's just going to be 45 minutes, how long this one is. So that the advantage to this one is that you can physically show them, okay, this is the amount of time that's going to move while we do this activity. We are so grateful for all that you're doing at home. So this week for spring break, we're not going to be uploading new line time videos, but we would like to have a class Zoom chat again. Stay safe, stay sane, and we'll get through this. Have a great spring break.